Hello, people, people, people. Hello, 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 hello. Do-do-do-do-do. Yeah. I need to looking for something that is yeah, I want da 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 da. Ooh. Oh la. In the context of a backward agricultural society threatened by natural, natural, nature, natural, natural disaster. Mhm. In the context of a backward agricultural society threatened by natural disaster, where labor barely ensures subsistence and hunger plummet unpredictably, reserving such an optimistic outlook and unbothered emotion is truly remarkable. While this could be considered a trait of Vietnamese character, perhaps this love of beauty is one of the roots of the Vietnamese admiration for literature, especially poetry. Nguyễn Kim describes it as an incurable Nguyễn Bỉnh Kim described it as an incurable disease of loving poetry. Ngô Thị Sĩ called it a poetry addiction, and Ngô Thị Nhậm alluded to it when, in conversation with Phan Huy Ích, he spoke of Vietnam as a land of poetry. By this love of beauty at time had given rise to the florist literary streak in the Vietnamese character, as Đạo Yen observed. In Callao, feelings about beauty arise first and foremost. In Callao, feelings about beauty arise first and foremost from the respect of nature and landscape. Many verses pair the word đẹp with cảnh, scenery. Can you take this one? What is the difference between nature and natural? Well, natural is come naturally, right? Natural, nature. It's called nature. Oh, babe. Natural. This is only natural. Rural life was deeply bound to nature, and thus the beauty of nature was inseparable from human activity. The beauty of landscape might lie in the pure charm of mountains, rivers, or streams, but more often it was found in the rice-field riverbank or lively road filled with passerby. In the consciousness of peasant, Aesthetic emotions were not always independent but often intermingled with other feelings, especially those concerning usefulness. Concerning usefulness. It is clearly reflected in Kayao verses when the word beautiful appear in connection with scenery. Here, the beauty of the homeland is tied to the lush green rice field, promising a plentiful harvest and evoking feeling of prosperity and usefulness. The blending of aesthetic emotion with a sense of utility is as the blending the blending of the blending of aesthetic emotion with a sense of utility is especially evident in verses about William River. On the other hand, on the one hand, rural people deeply cherish the beauty of rivers with, with their rightfully winding forms. In Vietnamese aesthetic taste, the motif of the gentle curl left a particular deep impression. On the other hand, the beauty of a river derived not only from its form but also from its practical value as a place for cool bathing. No, let's pass this. Let's pass this. Pass, pass, pass. No. Uh-huh. Though rural life was full of hardship, toil, and the burdens of nature, community, and social interested, the people's view of life remained luminous, imbued with love for nature and for life itself. Without such a spirit, they could not have taken joy in the beauty of their homeland. That joy animated the landscape, make it lively, fluid, and full of breath. The folk's aesthetic taste revealed here reflect not only an optimistic outlook on life, at its deepest roots, it is intertwined with the rural worldview, a simple yet profound understanding of nature that regards growth and movement of our things that as life itself, and its view and life itself as beauty. For the rural Vietnamese, indeed, beauty is life. Come to extend the rustling of trees, the swaying of branches, the trembling of leaves all remind us of human life. A beautiful landscape is one of possessed living breath. This living breath, emanating from the wind that stirs, the way that shimmer, the flower that smile, and the face that live, show that the landscape in these Callao birds are brimming with vitality and dust, by the folk's aesthetic brimming with also beauty. This observation helps explain yet another feature of nature and landscape in Callao, the frequent presence of the color ring. Ring. Oh, should copy this one. The dense presence of the coloring in Callao clearly reflects the natural landscape of Vietnam. A tropical land abundant in trees, forests, rice fields, and coastline stretching from north to south. Yet it is not only a reflection of geography. Green trees, green fields, and green forests had a long symbolized growth, fertility, and abundance. Here, green is not merely the color of nature, but the color of life itself. The color green thus become a symbol of the beauty of a living, thriving world. It also expresses the restlessness and the restlessness and lifelong life-loving outlook of rural people toward nature, a delightful trait within the Vietnamese folk aesthetic. That very greenness, together with the aesthetic emotion filled with love for life, found its way into classical literature, lending learned poetry a spirit deeply rooted in the sensibility of the people. The beauty of nature is a profound source of inspiration in Callao. It is the earliest form of beauty, the original beauty. Even a person is called beautiful, the beautiful remains as a part of nature. Người ta đó. People are the flowers of the earth. In folk aesthetic, in folk aesthetic, the beauty of human beings and of nature intertwine and embellish each other. Yes, the beauty of nature still seems to stand higher as the measure, the standard of which are else it judges. The beauty of nature permanent Callao appearing the landscape as well as the form and face of human beings. The attitude toward nature's beauty reflects both the simple cosmology of rural people who regarded humanity and nature as one, and their deep affection for the nature world, a love that carries not only profound aesthetic meaning, but also a remarkably humanistic and modern sense of environmental awareness. To study the beauty of nature and landscape in Callao is to explore how people receive the beauty of the world around them, to train the aesthetic sensibility that have left their mark on work choice, imagery, and the praise of beloved scene. For this initial observation, we can from this initial observation, we can see that a love for nature and especially for the beauty of nature scenery is a defining trait of the Vietnamese character. For rural people, a beauty scene is one with sun and tree, here where mountain and water in harmony, flowing together in soft curves. Such landscapes are alive and dynamic, full of brightness and vitality, yet also intimate, emotionally resonant, intertwined with human feeling. Alongside their graceful contour and vivid colors, these landscapes symbolize prosperity and happiness. It folks aesthetic beauty and usefulness not only exclude one another, they are inseparably bound. Art is where the aesthetic relationship between human being and reality most intensely expressed. Yet beauty itself is not confined to art. It exists also in nature, in the living world. The ability to feel moved before nature beauty is an essential part of human aesthetic expression. To study the aesthetic sensibility embodied in traditional Kayao is therefore a broad yet very cultural extent of the Vietnamese people, and at the same time to deepen our understanding of artistic beauty. A natural aesthetic provides the necessary foundation upon which to build a philosophy of art. I need to cut this down. La 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 my throat hurts so bad, hurts so bad. My throat hurts so bad, hurts so bad. Only time with all you need a piece of crazy to doing the job, to doing the work, to accomplish something, but you don't need to be too crazy. Flowers in Callao. Oh, no. I wrote down here. From a poetic standpoint, we may say that the descriptive techniques used in Callao and in the Tale of Kill is quite similar. This observation allows for various conclusions about the influence of folk poetry on Nguyễn Du artistic creation, or perhaps the reverse, about the writer's relationship with the life of the people, about the interaction between popular and scholarly tradition, and about the shared mode of artistic drew across works productive within the same literary era. The study of the aesthetic presence of nature in Callao is therefore a subject of great significance. Examining the form through which natural scenery appears in Callao is only one of many possible approaches, but it helps to clarify the distinctive nature of Callao, especially its creative mode of thought. On what basis? Especially its creative mode of thought. On that basis, we gain a deeper understanding of the relationship between art and nature, and more broadly between human beings and the nature world. And this relationship is in fact the core and the essential one, not only for science but for human life itself, especially in the modern age. Beauty and folk aesthetic taste through Callao. Aesthetic taste is a form of aesthetic judgment deeply marked by individuality. It reflects one's sense of presence and inclination toward sensations, yet it also carries a clear evaluative aspect. The conversion of individual in the individual taste, okay, the convergence of individual taste among people living within the same community of or historical period form collective traits in how beauty and ugliness are perceived by a nation in a given era. Exploring folk aesthetic taste through Khayal does offer a way to approach the Vietnamese sense of beauty, helping us understand not only how the Vietnamese have perceived and valued beauty, but also their temperament and broader cultural identity. In traditional Khayal, the word beautiful appears with remarkable frequency, alongside the description of beauty of nature and landscape. More verses that concern beauty speak of human beauty. It's noteworthy that when we speak of beauty, we often think first woman. Yet in traditional Khayal, there are many verses raise the beauty of man as well. This is a striking difference from classical or written literature, which tend to extol the beauty of women alone. A comparative study between a comparative study between this phenomenon in Vietnamese Khayal and the folk poetry of other culture would no doubt yield valuable insights. A question arises here in Khayal when praising or criticizing a man or a woman as beautiful or unattractive, what quality are truly being valued or disapproved of? Reading Khayal, we can observe several points. First, contrary to the lyric views of Confucian morality, Khayal places great importance on the beauty of the human body. For men, it is so, but for women, physical beauty is valued even more. From hair and face to figure and gesture, every feature can stir feelings of love and admiration for beauty itself. My throat so hard, not so bad. Jesus. This can be said that nearly every aspect of human's physical beauty is mentioned in Khayal. Rural people seem to be unafraid of their affection for pure physical beauty that is sometimes even essential in nature. Clearly, in folk aesthetic taste, beauty is not something purely spiritual or abstract. It is concrete, sensory, and closely tied to the light, shape, and colors of the human body. It is an aesthetic taste, both material and earthly, deeply rooted in everyday life. At the same time, this taste bears the clear imprint of folk culture. It is formulaic and patterned nature. Beautiful cheeks must be rosy cheeks. A lovely smile shows dimples. Beautiful teeth are black teeth, fair skin and long hair, Phoenix eyes and vermilion lips, and so on. Yes, precisely through this formulaic patterning. Yes, proceed to this formulaic patterning, we come to recognize that universal in folk aesthetic as reflected in Khayal, notably When praising physical beauty, Kayao does not only speak of the eye, the mouth, the teeth, the hands, or the hair, and as body part, but also of the charm that radiates from them. A glance of the eye, a smile of the lips, these make the human body no longer merely a physical form, but as an aesthetic object, something beautiful. As aesthetic taste associated with such beauty is no longer insistent or primitive. It's become it's become profoundly human, bound to love and emotion. Movement, gesture, and the graceful coordination of bodily features lift the body beyond its mere physicality, giving it vitality, warmth, and feelings, hence charm and allure. It is no coincidence that in Callao, when speaking of human beauty, two images often stand out: the smiling mouth and the way of speaking. Many verses praise the beauty of one's mind. This may well, this is the feature of Vietnamese aesthetic. Foreigners often remark that Vietnamese people smile a lot. As the prof say, a smile worth 10 dose of medicines. The smile, especially of someone with a lovely mouth and beautiful teeth, brings aesthetic delight, fascination, and affection. Alongside the smiling mouth, Kaya also contains many verses praising the beauty of the speaking mouth. Here, the phrase "speaking charmingly" naturally refers in part to the way a young man or woman knows how to address others properly with polite, appropriate words, but it also praises the pleasantness of the voice itself in ăn nói, literally eating and speaking. A Vietnamese idiom that means the whole manner of speaking, both in word and tone. There is both the meaning of the words and the sound of their expression. Speak that create an aesthetic impression that win affection depend not only on word choice but the sentiment meaning, but also on tone and sound, the musical quality of the voice. This once again demonstrates in folk aesthetic taste, movement and animation occupy a significant place. Bodily beauty not found merely in the static balance or proportion of physical features, eyes, mouth, or hands, but in the harmony and liveliness of their coordination. The mouth must smile to be truly lovely. One speech must be sweet, gentle, affectionate in both tone and meaning to be enduring. It also helps explain an interesting phenomenon in Kaya when raising the physical charm of a man or a woman alongside the word beautiful with frequency and counting pretty, breast, usefully vibrant or bright in the moment and upright in the moment and sound and graceful. In a sense, these may be regarded as distinct category of beauty within the framework of folk aesthetic. Here, this phenomenon is not unique to any one culture. And in the 19th century's Russian aesthetician Chernyshevsky observes in the description of a beautiful woman in folk song, every sign of beauty expresses abundant health and a balance of bodily strength, quality that are always result of a fulfilling life involving regular diligent but not excessive labor. Close to the beauty of fresh, of the beauty and ease, the beauty of crisp, quality often praised in Khayal. The word zong suggests a kind of beauty that is vigorous, playful, and full of life, a charm that captivates. This allure may stem from a crisp, spirited way of speaking, but is also come from the fresh vitality radiating from a girl's mind, eyes, or figure. Kaya verses that praise the beauty of young reveal the delicacy, the delicacy, the delicacy of folk aesthetic sensibility, the ability to receive and to celebrate a vibrant, like a forming charm of human beauty. If song conveys the rich, healthy, and sensual charm of a country girl, and being grace or charms evoke a different aesthetic quality. In many cases, Ying is regarded as an inseparable from beauty. One is beautiful because one has Ying. Having Ying does not necessarily meaning beautiful. Yes, Ying surely an aesthetic criterion by which people fall in love and choose a spouse. So, how does Yin differ from beauty? The difference lies in this, that is static, while Yin is dynamic. Beauty lies in the harmony agreement of lights and colors, something visible to the eye. Yet, Yin, however, is the movement, the coordination, the subtle rhythm among those very light and colors. Something the sometimes the individual feature, the color, the form may not be beautiful in themselves, but when combined through motion and rhythm, they produce a fluid, graceful harmony that arouses aesthetic pleasure in what is commonly called Duyên. As Phạm Quỳnh wrote in his essay, What is Beauty?, published in Nam Phong magazine in 1917, what is Duyên? It is difficult to define clearly. Perhaps Duyên is that invisible, mysterious element that gives beauty its final charm, and without it, beauty becomes coarser, even though Duyên lies in the soft, graceful manner of movement, in the harmony and rhythm of living motion. Because Duyên lies in movement, the charm of a man or woman does not come merely from the eyes or the mouth themselves, but from their motion, from the smile, the glance, and especially from the way one speaks. The Duyên of a man or a woman does not reside only in speech, but radiates from the whole body, from the harmonious coordination of its feature and gesture. This sense of Duyên is a prominent trait of Vietnamese aesthetic, leaving its imprint not only in literature but also in painting and sculpture. The simplicity and closeness to ordinary life, together with the centeredness and gracefulness, have become two inherent qualities of our Vietnamese art. Okay, that's enough for today.